Okay, here we are. As I remember, okay, as you see right here, this part broke off. So what you did, you welded it to the shaft of the rose, and the end piece, we put the top tracker on. This part right here turns right here. And this is what makes it turn, because it's on the shaft. And it comes down and hits this. And like I said, this right here is 7 foot tall and then 9 inches back on the Y there. I mean the T, or the, I guess that's a Y. Call it a Y. And we drilled a hole, we bolted it in. And then we set the frame and everything up there first, and then I installed the sails on it. Right here on this actuator, the actuator is actually wrong position. This part right here has always been in the wrong position. It should have been up higher so that it could have made it travel a little better. I always had trouble with this. That's why we had to put this, weld up this garbage here on it to try and get it to work semi-right, and it still was lacking. Right now, it's tilted back for a summer. It should be tilted further that way, but I don't know if my actuator will let me tilt it any further south. But anyway, and these right here, God, I forget how long they were. They look like 36-inch actuators, or 20, something similar to that. Actuator doesn't need to be that long if it was moved up closer. Say we had mounted it right here and then had a thing there, but I think it need to be down here and go to that center thing. That's where we had originally did it, but we didn't weld this up high enough to catch it, so we ended up going out that way. It would have been better if it had been right there, and it could have brought it down some on this side and then a lot more on the other side. With that long of an actuator, we could have figured out what to do with it there. Then this one over here, this one just broke after years of stress, I guess. Apparently that's a stress point when you come out away from that. Maybe it'd have been better if it was had been bolted on with a piece of angle iron. Maybe bolted the angle iron on. I don't know. Maybe we could have got something there to make it work pretty good that way. I don't know, but this actuator was actually fine. It was the right length and everything. It got me over to the west, even tilted this way, and got the sun as it was going down in the summertime. But most of this stuff is based on a tilt, and I know that this right here is not the right tilt for mine. I need to be tilted further south than that. That's like, it looks like 15 degrees. It should be down here at 30. I had a straight pin. I had a screwdriver in my hand earlier, and it shows that the angle needs to be like this in the middle of the day. So I'm way off on that. And then this was my photo cell, my eye. It came up here, had 2 compartments. Had one here, and then this one right here has actually got a fan built into it. And this is where the cards are laced in. I have terminal blocks in here to make my connections and stuff, but the electronics is over here in this box. I remember that part. And then I went over here and I built this timer with a bunch of relays and stuff. As you can see, it's got relays and a timer, and I set it up where I could actually push a button and go either direction I wanted to when I turn this off, turn it on, and I'd actually be there. And I can see, man, it's still got a red light in there. Still got power on it. Probably because of that up there. That was my charger. My trickle charger for my battery. That's down here on the ground, much like what you're doing. Need to get. I didn't ever put it in a case. It worked fine. I mean, it was under this whole thing. Anyway, that's the system here. Like I said, we'd had a good design. You kind of said something about it being up here and it wouldn't be the center, but I mean, it always worked beautifully. I mean, because that's just one axis right there. That's actually putting the 2 axes together instead of having the pins in a bar above it. I think it looks great. This was a good thing. I've got it tacked down because that bar is broken. And I could try and come out and try and refurbish it and try and see if I can get a bar or something for that. But as you see, I used some half unit strut up there for runners for putting in stuff like this. You know, we actually welded that in, and over here we welded it on that one, and then I had to notch out the unit strut so it would fit under the ladder and make it so the ladder would be flush against the unit strut frame. But man, this design was flawless. I mean, beautiful. The only thing I had was a couple of times when it lost the actuator actually pulled out on one of them one time, and the whole thing went down to the side. So, you know, it does have, actuators have to have something in there. Maybe I'll put in that spring. It probably should have been a chain there that'll go the full length, but won't let the, probably it needed a chain on either side to where it will not go crashing to the ground, something that would slow it down. I thought springs would work, but I don't think they ever worked. I'm not sure. They got a lot of tension on them and they're rusting away, but oh well, who cares. Good scene. That looks like that's a wrap there. And this is my 220 coming in from over there at that box over there. So I had two actuators on this thing. I had another battery over here too. I had another battery that I had in a battery box, and this went underground and went over there and was the other half of the battery supply, because there it is. As you can see, it was a Husky 280, another small deal, and it went down in the ground, went over there, came up, and I supplied some of the actuator power from that over here too. I can't remember why I put this battery out here though. I think it was that battery was to power up my relay system in there or something, and then I trickle charged it up here with that. Come down, here's the box, and it goes into this. That's actually, and there's power on it too. It's actually still working after all these years. Wow, that's cool. Anyway, I'll have to pull that down, have to take a look at it and see what, maybe you could use it or something. It's just a trickle charger for a battery. Alright, that looks like it. I need to take these off at some point. I could show you the layout in there, but who cares? Now that you found one you can buy. I mean, that was just me loving to put together electronic stuff, and I built that myself. I was really proud of myself at that point. Anyway, that's it basically. And as you can see, these are actually pretty good. They still putting out power, I guess. I got red flashing on it, so I don't know. Anyway, all of them are flashing red. Anyway, and there's the actuator. And like I said, see, I put a bar down across the rungs and then bolted them to the panels, and that stabilizes it so much. Putting these end plates on, that stabilized it so much right there. See, I'm going to have hell tearing this down and getting rid of it too. And see up there, that top thing? I don't know if you can see it up there. I don't know, it's out of focus. But there's a stud, and if you can see it in the video later. You see that stud? That's where I mounted my time-lapse camera. And it showed me a day in the life of the tracker looking at the sun. And that was just a neat little experiments you can try. Anyway, okay, well, I guess that's a wrap for that video. I got a lot of dove nests in here still. They come back every year even though I tear them out. And I don't even know if this thing would still work or not. It might if I got a new bar in and got an actuator, and the actuators still work. I don't know. I'll have to see if I can get these batteries working, or find some kind of battery to get out here and try these actuators, because I'd like to see if this one will go a little further and maybe tilt it. Be nice if it would, but I'm not expecting it to. Anyway, so, okay, that's it for now. Well, I had all kinds of ways to route wires, didn't I? Through the ladders, back around, over there, and going to the actuators and stuff. That was all fun times back then. This is one of my proudest accomplishments. Yeah, it was great. So I've got little bar U-bolts holding stuff on. These are ideas I'm trying to relate to you. And we bought this at the store. I got these at Lowe's, I think. They're just handlebars with holes in them, and then we welded them on so I could put my actuator on. Then you tacked it down in places so we could keep it going that way. Did a pretty good job on the welding, except for, I mean, your weld didn't break, the iron fatigue, and I think it was just some kind of bending at this point. I mean, why would that just crack like that and break off? It doesn't make sense. Oh well. Yeah, well, that's the end of my video. Talk to you later. We'll try and get this. I'll see if I can just shoot this to you somehow or another. I don't know. I gotta go view it first, see if it's in good shape. It gets dark on that side. Oh, I got a lot of wiring that's starting to fall. All my tie wraps have been breaking and shit. Yeah, there's one. It broke. The tie wraps don't last forever. Okay. Let's get over here. As you can see, I was talking about that buildup on. It's been a year since I washed this thing, and that's the kind of stuff that you'll get built up on it if you don't wash it. That's probably pollen, and that's probably just pollen and dirt accumulation. Yeah, I'll talk at you later. Bye.